All right, we are on to our piston constraint. So I set up a little example for us to see here. Now, a piston constraint is basically the exact same thing as a slider, except there's one small difference, and that is that our object that has the constraint can actually rotate as well. So it's not locked into one axis. Well, it is locked into one axis, but it can also rotate along that axis. This is our example right here. If we slide through, you can see that we have a channel that our cylinder is going through. It's limited in its constraint, but it can also rotate. And I added a little fin in modeling mode, so you can see right here in edit mode, I just kind of extruded one of those faces so that you can actually see how it's rotating as well. And I'll go to our side view here so you can see. Notice how it can rotate as well. Now, you can also limit this rotation, and I show this right here. Go ahead and change these to -20 and 20. So you'll see that right now it's rotated just a little bit. Check this out. It will now rotate a little bit more. You can see that as it moves back, it's a little bit glitchy, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to set this up. I just wanted to show the visual example first so you can understand how this works. All right, let's go ahead and delete everything in our scene. Let's go back, give this a quick save. I'm going to go ahead and start by adding in a cylinder here. I'm going to go ahead and tab into edit mode. I'm going to turn on my X-ray view right here, which is right here next to our wireframe and solid view. I'm going to go to my top-down mode, switch to vertice select mode. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this half, X to delete, and I'm going to delete the vertices. Now if we tab back out of edit mode and switch off our X-ray mode, we have kind of this half cylinder shape. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this on the Y-axis as follows. RY 180, there we go. And you can also do this right here in the transform panel. I'm going to go to our modifiers tab. I'm going to add in a solidify, and I'm just going to give this a little bit of a solid surface. Then I'm going to apply my modifier, and here we have our solid channel. SX to go ahead and scale that out, and now we have our channel. Now let's go ahead and add some physics objects. Let's go ahead and add in another cylinder. Let's rotate that on the Y-axis. All right, go ahead and make sure I have my screencast keys enabled here. Now, as you guys can see, we have our cylinder right here. I'm just going to scale this down a little bit. That looks perfect. Now, a couple of things to mention here. Our physics objects have to be set to mesh. So when I add my physics object to my cylinder right here, which I'll add my rigid body to, I'm going to set that to passive. But instead of setting it to convex hull, I'm going to set it to mesh. And the reason why is because if we set it to convex hull, everything is going to go all over the place because Blender can't calculate that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and scale this down a little bit. Now, this right here is going to be a rigid body, but it's going to be type active. Now, if we go ahead and press play, you can see that our cylinder just kind of falls into place. I'll just go ahead and double verify that that's working. And there we go. So everything is working properly. We have both physics objects set up. Now we need a constraint here. So before I talk about the constraint, I want to show you that since this is a passive rigid body, remember how we talked about that checkbox animated right here? I am actually going to check this right now because I actually am going to animate this real quick. So on frame 1, with my bottom channel selected, I'm going to simply press I on my keyboard, and you'll notice everything turns yellow over here. Now Blender has inserted a keyframe for us. I'm going to move forward on my timeline to about 30. I'm going to go to my side view. I'm going to press R to rotate. I'm just going to give this a little bit of rotation here. I'm going to press I again, and then I'm going to highlight my first keyframe down here, Shift D to duplicate, and I'm just going to drag that out to 60. Now we should have something that looks kind of like this. Oops, that might be a little bit too much rotation. Go ahead and see what's happening there. All right, we don't want that much rotation. We're going to go ahead and delete those keyframes and go back. Go ahead and reset everything to 0 here. All right, we're going to go ahead and go back and give ourselves a -90 degrees here. Insert our keyframe, go to frame 20, and then we're going to go ahead and give it just a little bit of rotation. Insert a keyframe again. And we're going to go back to maybe frame 40, and we're going to give ourselves 0 rotation. I'm sorry, 90, -90. So the reason this was happening is because we have to apply our transform. So we're going to go ahead and click on our cylinder, and since we rotated it, we have to go to Object, Apply, All Transforms, and then everything should be working normally. Let's go ahead and press play. And it is, which is great. So as you can see, everything's sliding normally and we're limited, which is great. We want that limit. Now let's go ahead and see what happens if we change that limit. Under our rigid body constraints over here, you can see that there is a linear limit and an X angle limit. Let's go ahead and change our upper and lower to -2 and 2. And let's go ahead and play this back. Now you can see it's still going to slide, but notice how it kind of slides out further. Let's go ahead and give our passive item a little bit more rotation on the other end. So right here, it's rotating to this side. Let's go ahead to frame 80, and let's just rotate it back the other way, and click I to insert a keyframe. Give this a quick save. Let's go all the way back to frame 1, and let's play this back. And as you can see, we have our constraint, and this looks great. We're constrained to our x-axis, which is what we want, and you can see right now that we have some actual constraints on the 2 meters on both sides. So we have a -2 meters and regular +2 meters. Now there's one more thing that I discussed, and that's the rotational value. So let's go ahead and tab into edit mode on our cylinder. Let's grab our face select mode up here. Let's select one face, and we're going to go ahead and extrude it. Pressing E is our shortcut key for that. All right, and we're going to go ahead and make sure I have my screencast keys on here. All right, we're going to make sure that when we're in our edit mode, we extrude at least one face because we want to see if there's any rotation. And there should be maybe a little bit of rotation, but we need a way to actually make this fin get caught on something. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a super simple obstacle here. I'm going to go ahead and create a cube. I'm just going to move that cube around, and I'm going to make this a thinner cube. So I'll scale it on the x-axis here. I'll go ahead and move it right here. I'll rotate it. Now, this cube is going to be a passive object, but it should move our fin. Let's see what happens. I'll add a rigid body. I'll choose passive. Now, this fin should hit this cube. Let's see what happens. And it does. Now, it gets a little glitchy, so you have to be careful, but notice how it can rotate. It can slide within this x-axis, but it can also rotate. That's exactly what we want, and that is the piston constraint. So it's just like a slider constraint, but it can rotate as well. The next constraint that we are going to talk about is generic.